So Grinner, then you got posted to the Tornado F3. How did you feel about this?
It was the natural progression, really. As the Lightning folded, the Lightning squadrons 5 and 11 both became Tornado F3 squadrons, and those, there were a few people who sort of fought back with it. Quite a number of the guys were leaving the Air Force, having been on short service commissions, and they went off to the airlines. And there were a number of people who really didn't want to go to a two-seat aeroplane. So there were quite a number of people who went off to places like Chivenham and Brawdy to be instructors on the Hawk attack weapons units at the time. But the remainder of us, we were all toted to go to the F3. There was never any talk about anybody going to the F4, because of course the F4 was in its latter days as well. And at the time, the Tornado F3 force was being generated, squadrons were being generated as time went on. And certainly myself and my cohorts that left Binbrook at the same time, we all ended up being on the same course. And allocated to essentially form what was to become 23 Squadron at RAF Leeming. So we were all quite happy that we were going up to what was essentially a new base, because of course Leeming had been a training base for many, many years up in North Yorkshire. It was, for me, returning almost to my homeland, because I grew up in North Yorkshire, though not that part of. I grew up on the coast. And we were going to be the second squadron to form at Leeming. 11 Squadron had been the first one, so we were going to be the second one. We were moving into the first of the hardened aircraft sites, which, believe me, was a building site when we arrived in November 1988. So we did what was essentially a bit of an abridged course. It wasn't a short course, but it wasn't as long as what they call a long course. So they acknowledged that we were all experienced operators, and we would be. But of course, the one thing we had to learn was how to fly with a navigator, because none of us had ever done it before. And I think probably that was the greatest challenge for most of us. We were used to being our own bosses, we were used to making all the decisions, and getting used to using another set of brains. And in fact, the guy that I was crewed up with on the OCU, I ended up being crewed up with on the squadron, and initially we didn't get on particularly well at all.
Oh, really?
We were two very, very strong characters coming from two separate backgrounds, and we had a few disagreements, but over the years we actually became great colleagues. And in fact, we were really, really lucky in one of my later tours, when I was back on 11 Squadron again in the mid-90s, I ended up being crewed with this individual, and people used to, look at us and go, "How on earth do you two do this?" Because you hardly, you don't really have any great dialogue. You just know what each other does. Again, well, we've flown with each other for so much now, so from going from those really rocky early days, we actually ended up being, a fantastic operating pair. And that was the thing I discovered over the years on the F3, was that I really got to appreciate what a really, really good backseater can bring to the operating party. It really is two heads working at the same problem. And we never ever got upset with me putting out a radio call that maybe he ought to have been doing in his role, and him taking control of something if he saw something developing before I did. We never ever got upset about that in the latter days. We just got on with it. So we ended up actually being, almost like a model crew, an example for the others, which of course at the end of the day, as an experienced operator, that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be developing the younger crews to be more effective as that. So we formed the squadrons up at Leeming, and of course we had to work all the squadrons up through operational build-up to be declared to NATO, and then so we had to go through all the pain of what that meant, not just for the squadron but for the station as well, because the station was doing the same thing. And then we just got up there, and then the Berlin Wall came down.